Hey everybody. Yes, I know my hair looks like a mess, but in addition to talking during this video, I'm actually going to be doing some hair dye stuff. So, um that's why it's looking the way it is. I'm going to put some hair dye on it, let it sit until I decide that I can't stand the fact that it's in my hair anymore. Sometimes that could be up to 24 hours. And then I will shower it off. So, um, but, um, there's a serious part to this as well because, um, I mean, I know everybody's talking about it lately, at least. And I watch a lot of commentary channels and stuff like that, so everyone's talking about Mr. Snowflake's Victims of an Empath, the part one, and then the Casey interview that followed. And I actually have the interview or the part one queued up on my tablet because I want to kind of start going through it and talking about the points, because I know some people are going to be like, well, clout chaser, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm a very small channel right now. And, I'm sort of following in Amber's very large coattails because I'm trying to do the weight loss journey. And I'm also vlogging about my life, my struggles, my accomplishments, what have you. But I also have backgrounds in being assaulted in basically every way, being abused in every way. So a lot of the commentary channels, they don't seem to have quite these things. Like My Two Cents, I know she's kind of touched base on an abusive husband in the past, and so there was some substance abuse involved in that. Part of why I follow her so much. But my history with abuse started when I was a child, and unlike Amber, I didn't go into the foster system. So I was kind of in it until I was thrown out of it. And during that, I had one abusive partner, because I started having relationships that were far too adult when I was much younger. But that's because I was essentially playing house at a much younger age. And when I say playing house, I was making sure rent was paid, that the food was bought, before my mom blew the money. So I really wasn't so much playing house as I was actually being an adult before I should have. So when I watched episode 1 of Victims of an Empath, like, it fucking hit me a lot. Especially hearing Casey's side of things. And I know that I'm probably not going to get a lot of views on this or whatever, but I don't know. I guess I wanted to possibly put it out there in case, Casey, you see this. I absolutely believe what you went through. I'm so sorry with what you went through. It looks like you're still trying to rise above it, but unfortunately, with your ex being who she is, it's made it a little bit hard. You talked about in the interview how you wanted to be sort of on social media more, but people just kind of know you through Amber, and so that's kind of a weight around your neck. My advice on that is do it. I mean, if that's really what you want to do, if you want to play games, socialize with people online, be you, you know, do it. If I have access to the games, I'll play with you. I know other people have said that they would watch you. Tiny Blue Dancer, I just watched her reaction to the interview, and she said as such. There's a lot of people that that want to stand in front and behind you in this, and so if you want to, get into doing vlogging or however it was you wanted to do things, Twitch, just kick now. But that seems to be floundering. I don't know. I don't hear people talk about it as much already. Find your bliss, really. Be happy. Because we only have this one body, this one trip, and don't let her control your life anymore. Don't let your other exes control your life. I know you said that, you've had some struggles with other relationships, and you can't let them be what hold you back, because then eventually it's you holding yourself back. If you understand, hopefully you do. And so that's why in the end I decided to do this, because from one survivor to another, I thought maybe I should say something. Maybe I'm thinking too highly of myself. Most likely. But better than not saying anything and just being an idiot, I think. 43, and I still struggle with self-confidence because of what I went through. So, Casey, I understand. I mean, I know you have your stuff going on with your mom right now, and it's great that she found you and everything. I mean, you've had that in your life at least, so you've had good things, and hopefully you will continue to find good things moving forward. I really hope and wish that for you. I'm atheist, so I'm not going to say pray or whatever, but if you believe, I hope someone will be looking out for you. So, yeah. So this is going to be a long video. Because it's going to take me a little bit to do my hair. But again, I will have this kind of playing. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it well, but I'm going to pause it, of course, at times and comment. I just, as much as I could, just continue going off the cuff with things. I don't know. I wanted to be potentially more specific at points. Because, like, I remember when he starts talking about specific instances where Amber actually lashed out physically, and I could imagine it, so therefore there were many reasons why I believed Casey, but oh, sorry, I changing my position a little bit, because at least initially I'm going to have to get closer because eyebrows are getting done first. And I'm going to look really fucking funny. So it might be hard at points to take this video as seriously. Maybe that'll be for the better for some of you. Especially with some of the topics discussed. But these are important things to discuss in the end. Because I don't think people realize and understand how much this actually seems to happen behind closed doors to children, to partnerships. You know, I recently was talking to one of my aunts, and she didn't even realize what was going on with my mom and how she was treating us, and the fact that she just kind of up and moved us from Massachusetts to New Hampshire just one fucking day, and that's how she did things for the whole time I was around. She liked to follow Dick, and that particular Dick was named Scott, and he had a large family, and I mean, not like his kids, but like his mom, his stepdad, their kids, and there were some nieces and nephews. And I will get into that another time, because that was a clusterfuck of a situation. And where things were definitely some of the most hectic. And the one time I did contemplate self-checkout. So, and that was between, I was about 12 to 13 at that point. So, let's start.
My fiance told me that she's calling me an abuser and a rapist. So not only was I being physically abused, but I was pretty much being
like, shit, I can't see it all that way.
Rain and petals eavesdrop. I used the wrong word. Rain and petals eavesdrop.
Oh,
I
fuck.
used the wrong word.
Yeah, this is gonna look fun.
Because that's not true.
Oh, fuck. I should have put my gloves on. I brought gloves right over here. Oh, well, let's go to my pants. Thankfully, this won't stain the skin as much as you'd think. I'm just using this spoolie to make sure it's getting in the hair.
Hi Amber, it's the Snowflake here, #1 baby on the internet.
Shaped by the algorithm, y'all. Someone recently told me about that, and I had to look it up. I was like, what is that?
So, I don't know, hopefully you see this, and hopefully you see the little clip of you from 5 years ago.
I watched the first episode, and I had a few tears, I'm not gonna lie.
Talking about how you don't want to die early. Because there's
just getting it off the spoolie. I don't know if this is going to actually do anything for my grades. That's part of why I'm doing this now.
Yeah, there are a lot of people concerned. You are getting older.
I have some stuff coming. It's not gray magic, but it's something that's supposed to be like gray magic, and I can add it to semi-permanent dye, and it's supposed to help with gray coverage. So, hopefully that'll be a thing. And for the record, I did watch Shaped by the Algorithm. I watched all of them. At least those that are currently... I don't know if he's going to do any more. But I did watch all the things that he did. And yeah, there were already signs to me that... that there were signs that Amberlynn was an abuser. The Code Red incident, as everyone talks about, is definitely one of those. The way she talks to people or talks about people is another. The way she condescends to them. The way she trivializes their feelings, especially when it came to recording them. There were a lot of signs that the only person that matters in this world is her. That's why she's able to move on so fast from her relationships too, by the way. My mom is a bit similar. Actually, that was another thing I kept seeing a bit. My mom would often play the victim in things. Even more recently with her sister to get a trip back into the area, because she was in Mississippi, she told my aunt that that her boyfriend was abusing her and everything, and so she needed to come back, and my Aunt Lori set her up in a shelter, a women's shelter, but she was immediately bitching about the size of it and everything, and the guy moved up this way, and according to Lori, they were hooking back up again. So I don't know what the fucking truth is there. I don't. I mean, with my Charlie Chaplin fucking eyebrows right now. I didn't know much about narcissism when I was growing up with my mom, or things like borderline personality. But later in life, I started to understand them. I was actually concerned for a while that I had borderline personality, because of some of the way I attach or lack thereof to people. And no, that's just trauma. Sometimes I can grow fast attachments to people, but I can unattach very quickly when hurt. It doesn't stop the hurt necessarily, but it prevents any additional hurt. So it's sort of like, your body telling you to take your hand off of the stove because you're burning yourself. So it was a hard day trying to bring up that topic to my therapist, because I was afraid I was going to hear that, yeah, there is something so broken in you that, that, yeah, maybe it was worse than borderline personality. Maybe psychopathy would have been mentioned, or, something to that effect. Like, I really had concerns about my mental health for a very long time. Because of how I learned how to cope with things, apparently. How to move through the world, how to interact with it. Things might have been different if I had gotten effective help sooner. And I'm trying to find a good therapist again. I've mentioned that now a few times. Still in that process, but it's hard anymore to find someone in your area who has availability, who takes your insurance. It is a struggle. I mean, I don't know if Casey is currently seeing a therapist. I hope with the whole transitioning thing that he is. I know for many that's part of the guidelines. But I wanted to suggest that just to help him ensure that he will be okay. That's the difference between being a victim and a survivor is, back when I was a child, back when I was a teenager, yeah, I was a victim of physical abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse. Between the ages of 4 and 5, sexual abuse. But I recovered enough that in my 30s, I finally started feeling more like a survivor. I started being more open and honest about what I had gone through, to encourage other people to share, to show that they weren't alone, to show that I could be a safe space for them to share their stories. And because I didn't have that for a good chunk of my life. And I understand that I should have. Like, that would have been ideal. So I try to provide that for others, even though, I'm not licensed in any way, shape, or form. But again, who the fuck can actually get that anymore these days? So I've at least read or talked enough that I understand some things. I can share those things. I can encourage things. I can at least be a sounding board. And at least tell people when they're feeling that anger, especially about how they were treated, that it's okay. I still love my mom, but there are times when I think about that past and I get angry about it. I have every right to be. And anyone else who goes through that sort of thing, whether that's because of a parent or a partner, someone in their life, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling a certain way because someone treated you badly. What would be wrong is for you to let it fester and inflict that same behavior onto others. So I think that's why I get so upset about things that I've heard in regards to Amber Lynn and such like it. Because it's too easy to just, if you're in a cycle of abuse of any sort growing up, to just go with the flow, let it continue. When the better thing is to fight and not be that. Like, I tell people, my mom taught me who not to be, what not to do. When it came to substance abuse issues, when it came to how to treat people. I mean, I was afraid to give up my fucking landline for years because I kept the same phone number. I still have the same email from when I was like 17, 18, when Gmail was still in alpha or just switched over to beta. It was one or the other. Like, I don't like things to be temporary in my life because of my past. I don't like that insecurity. It bothers the fuck out of me. I need permanence. I need things that I can rely on, that I can depend on. So I went off on a bit of a tangent. Apologies. But yeah, it's just, as you can see, as much as I am okay, I still struggle. But I know that's okay, if that makes sense.
I'm getting older. Starting to get grey hairs in my beard now.
You might have to watch the next one.
Hopefully it gives you a little push to
Gray hairs in your beard.
to lose some weight.
Most of my fucking hair is gray anymore, dude. I'm only 43. I've been getting gray hair since I was 13, guys. 13.
And I make documentaries about...
I'm mostly just trying to touch up the roots, so...
interesting people. It was actually through...
I don't even know if it'll stick.
How I discovered Amber Lynn Reid.
You gotta fight for your right to Amber. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was a bit stuck for who to do next. And so I came up with a list of different lol cows. I think Boogie was on there, Chris Chan, and Amber was right at the bottom. And then he picked Amber, and I was shocked because I thought she was boring.
I think she'll be watching this. Hi, Amber! Oh, sorry, we haven't even mentioned the t-shirts. We've gone full Am Baby. These are professional t-shirts.
Was mine see-through?
See-through.
I'm just wondering if you can see me next.
What were my first impressions of Amber? I remember liking her. I liked her at first. I made a few videos showing some support for her. I did a couple of community posts where I was rooting for her. I was on her side. I really meant all the videos and the posts because Amber was talking about how she was going to die. She was carrying too much weight. She was so unhealthy, and it did. It looked like she was close to death. She looked like that for a while now. But I genuinely supported her at the beginning, and even Jimmy did. Jimmy really meant the support.
Yeah, so in the start, I really enjoyed the fact that he'd started covering Amber because I'm a big fan of BBWs, which is big, beautiful women.
I was going to say though, should we wear the Amber shirts to the gym?
Yes.
Really?
I don't know if Jimmy's actually fucking full of shit or whatever when he's talking about big, beautiful women. But, you know, Jimmy, if you happen to watch this,
yes,
look at my other videos and maybe give me a critique, because I'm hella insecure. So maybe someone who's honestly into BBWs, you can tell me.
I think I'm going to say
I mean, I don't do the makeup thing much, so I'm not catfishing.
I remember the exact moment I stopped supporting her, and it was during a live stream. I'll do a Hulk Hogan. I know I ripped up the Am Baby shirt I had. I ripped it trying to be funny and trying to make the viewers laugh. But
By the way, when I actually am able to grow a community, for a lot of my gaming, like social media, my Twitch, my Discord, stuff like that, I'm known as the Decimator, put on my name. So I actually already have a Discord channel set up, and it's called the Decimation Nation. So I think that's what I will call my community if I can ever get one off of the ground. Let me know in the comments for what subscribers I do have, how you feel about that, because I'd be really curious to know. And yeah, I can't see a damn thing, so like I can see like the colors, and that's about it, just for the record.
I remember it. That is when I genuinely thought, I'm done with her. Because people had warned me for a long time what she was like. And I thought, no, we're going to see the good in her. But when they told me, watch how she treats her girlfriends, I watched, and
I want to be clear that initially, when I discovered Amber, I liked her too. I could already get the sense, though, that she was full of shit about, actually losing weight. She didn't really seem that motivated. But the fact that she had animals, she did seem initially to be a very caring individual to me at first blush. But I was kind of catching her right as she was in the Feline/Wipey era. I'm still very new to Goro World and all of that, just for the record. So, like, I didn't really know about the Code Red and Crystal and Casey and just all of it before that point. So, might have been the first couple months. And then I saw people revisiting Code Red, Jordy. I was watching, I think he was the first one that I saw talking about it. And the heckles. Especially hearing it come out of Destiny's mouth. I think that's pretty sure, or was it Becky? Forgive me if I'm mixing up, because I'm trying to now picture it in my head, but everything's blurry now. But I remember the questions, like they had the notepad out and they were kind of breaking down the timeline. But I remember the Code Red incident being discussed by the ex. I usually have a better memory for this stuff, so I apologize. But hearing the manipulation, you know, Amber talking about using the self-checkout lane if the ex had left to see their mom, you know, those sorts of like, I knew it wasn't made up. Something in me told me the story just, it sounded too true to me. And I have a very good bullshit meter. There was someone recently who made contact with me. Hopefully they're not going to do it again, because then I'm going to be more specific about it. But within the span of 24 hours, I had to block them. So, I don't want to go into it yet more than that. And hopefully they won't force me to, but I will if I have to. So, yeah, I do. I have a very good bullshit reader. It's just from being raised feral like I was. And that's when I knew that she's not a good person. And then when the breakup happened with her and Feline, I began watching out of concern. Out of concern that Amber was going to find a new girlfriend. I'm still concerned that she will find a new girlfriend. And that's why, another reason why I wanted to talk about Mr. Snowflake's Victims of an Empath, because I actually think it's very important that he continue and complete this series, because I'm hoping it will make sure that nobody falls into her fucking trap again. I'm really hoping, because she is predatory. She tries to find people that are chronologically younger than her. I'm not calling her a pedo, okay? I'm not. But she is predatory. She tries to find people that are going to be more naive so she can take advantage of them. She can use them. She can gaslight them. She can manipulate them. In the interview that Mr. Snowflake has with Casey, I believe he's touching on the same points. He's just saying it in a different way. But I could see it. After the Code Red incident being discussed, I could see it. She can't have anyone else in her life like that. She can't. Look what she does to them. I mean, I think Feline might have been the smartest. She handled the situation the best. She made sure that she could have a life away from Amber after the fact, because barely anyone knew what she looked like. But, I mean, at least some people do. I mean, hopefully she's been able to move on. I don't know if she was trying to play the game. Like, if she really was trying to do this for, like, clout and gifts and stuff like that. Like, some people do that. You know? But obviously something went awry and she got out. So, but the others, they had no idea. They didn't realize what they were getting into. And that's why I think this series needs to happen. And I think any potential internet sleuths, if they can catch wind of Amber seeming to catch someone in her web, they need to start sending her this stuff. You know, because obviously it'll be a girl. And make sure they understand. And then their discretion, you know? But this needs to be out there.
Yeah. I know during that live stream we were watching how she was treating Becky. But people had already warned me how she treated her first partner, Casey.
Are y'all Native American? I'm black, white, Filipino, and Mexican. My mom is. Do you have any Native American? No. Because this my mom right here. She's the one who adopted me when I was a baby.
Casey, known before his transition as Cassidy, was raised in
Casey's
Arizona
mom is a
by his adopted
fucking
mother,
saint,
Becky
by the way.
Cordero. Growing up, Casey
Putting
struggled
up
in school
with
and
Amber
was often bullied.
and
You
all
know,
that
I did a lot of
shit
dumb
that
stuff
that
in
Amber
school.
put on
I
Facebook.
wasn't really great in school.
Oh my
I
god.
was picked on,
Seriously.
and you know, I made poor choices. The world won't care about your struggles. I hate to say it, but it's true. The world doesn't care about your struggles. They don't care.
I care.
Where you came from or where you're going.
I care.
But you know what? You can
There
care
are
for
people
you.
who care.
Make your life
Maybe we're fucking weird
worth
for it,
living for
but
you.
we care.
If not for anyone else. Make your life the best you can for you.
Casey would seek refuge from his struggles through the use of online chat rooms. It was there where he would meet Amber and
Also, don't use Casey's dead name. Don't do what Amber did. Casey is Casey. That's the best way to refer to him, because that's who he is. That's who he felt like he was for a very long time. And they call it a dead name for a reason. I know some people in the commentary space were kind of interchanging the names because during the time Amber was seeing Casey, they weren't Casey. But then that's how you refer to them. Don't use the other name. That's how Mr. Snowflake should have handled it. That's how other people should handle it. Unless they specifically ask Casey. But you shouldn't. You should only refer to him as Casey. As soon as you find out that that is his name, that's it. You know, and Amber using that bullshit excuse that they're not a girl anymore, so I can talk about them. No. That was bullshit. She thought that she could lie with impunity and not get caught. That's what that was. She thought she could talk about that person. She thought she could talk about Casey as that previous person and not get caught. That's what that was. Because now they were Casey. It wasn't about sensitivity. Oh, fuck, I got it on my nose. Oh, well, this is going to be a funny rest of the video. So, yeah. Moving forward, anyone who watches this, Casey is Casey. Respect that. You know, and any other potential trans people you come across, it's the same thing. You know, you ask them their name, they tell you their name, you use their name. That's it.
Casey and Amber, I mean...
Shit. Sorry, I just realized I also got dye. By the way, Lunar Tides Eclipse and then Lime Crime Unicorn Dye, equal parts, Squid Ink and New Moon. New Moon being a blue-black and then Squid Ink being a purple-black and then a little bit of Ex Mondo Super Gloss. That's what I used. So all semi-permanent. And now that's done.
Had experiences with bullying and foster care instantly connected. Casey, who was just 15 years old at the time, entered an online relationship with Amber, who was almost 2 years his senior.
My first true relationship was with a girl named Cassidy. We met online.
Oh, we were together from 2008 to 2011. So almost 4 years, three and a half years.
I met her online at 15. I met her in person at 16. While we were an online relationship, a long-distance relationship, I would send her pictures of my face. I made her understand that I was a bigger girl. I told her my weight, and she really, really accepted that.
After about a year of being in this online relationship, the pair would finally get to meet in person.
When I first met her in person, it was in California. Because me and my mom went to California to visit my nana, and she lived in California, so she came and visited for a little bit. Which was cool. We had a good time, you know? It was a good time. She told me that the first time she ever met me in person, she did not find me attractive whatsoever. I was freaking so shocked,
so hurt and so surprised. She was purely setting me down, and she was being honest that when we met in person, I wasn't attractive to her at all.
Okay, when it comes to physical attraction, let me tell you guys this. I look for some. At one point, her personality was, I felt her personality. I don't fall for someone's looks. I don't fall for keep up with hygienes, whatever. But I don't fall for someone's looks. I fall for their heart. I fall for their soul. I fall for their personality.
It completely.
As a pansexual, I completely understand what Casey is saying. I mean, I have things that I find physically attractive in people. Like I joke that I'm a T and A person of any gender. Tits and ass, just in case. Apparently the youngins don't seem to understand what T and A means. So, there you go. But more than anything else, a person's personality, their humor, their intellect can make a much bigger impact as far as my attraction to them goes. So that's why things like size and shape didn't matter. Like short kings, not an issue with me. People that are on the larger size, not an issue with me. Though now that I understand, the health risks a bit more. And that's why I'm doing my own weight loss journey. I fucking got dye still everywhere. Sorry. That, I'd probably say some stuff. I'd probably, try to help them. But if I'm in a relationship with them and I care about them, then I want them to be around as long as possible. So that's why I'd be doing it. It wouldn't be an attraction or non-attraction sort of thing. It'd be because I care. So, and yeah, no matter your size, hygiene is important. I went down on a girl once that didn't take care of her down below. And yeah, I didn't enjoy it at all. She did. I did not. It was moist, like from like sweat, and that's why I especially take care of hygiene in that area for myself. I became very self-conscious of that. Still am, especially once I started becoming bigger. I do. No matter your size, because that girl, I was 14. She was 14. So she was smaller than me. I was about a size 12, and she might have been like an 8, maybe a 10. US sizes, of course. And yeah. Skinny girls can have bad hygiene too. Also guys, for the love of fucking Christ, wash your ball sacks. Please. I say this for anyone who's gonna go near them. Guys, girls, whatever. Just and I say this as someone that can find penises attractive and doesn't mind going down that area, but it's the same thing. If it stinks down there, there's no incentive. So if you're wanting girls to go visit the basement, I guess it's not merely the basement, it's the, because that would be the back, well, that's the back door. You understand what I'm saying? Just get some nice smelling soap and practice good hygiene. Also, for girls, you don't need to douche inside. Just some water and your fingers, because douches are going to dry you out, and then that causes other potential issues, including like getting infections and stuff, because your pH balance is very important. I don't know if they cover this in like health class and stuff anymore, but they should be. So I'm sharing it. Okay? It's our bodies flush things out naturally. So if you're concerned, just water. Water does fine. There are some feminine washes that you could also use, but again, especially when some of them are like salt and vinegar, I think, and like some, that's drying. You don't want that. You do not want that in that area. Okay?
Lowered my self-esteem a great deal, and I was never the same since then. Don't get me wrong, as time went on and we lived together, like, obviously she started finding me attractive because she started to get to know my personality. It still really scarred me.
Despite the lack of physical attraction coming from...
She says it scars her, yet every time she's doing a fucking TikTok, or excuse me, I don't like using absolutes. Almost every time Amber is doing a TikTok that I have been shown, she's grabbing her titties, guys. So, where's the insecurity? You know, like, I'm trying to make more eye contact with this video specifically. Like, I'm actually, I look so fucking funny though. So maybe it's the fact that I do kind of look ridiculous right now and not like myself that I can do this, but like, that's insecurity. She seems to be rather full of herself, literally and figuratively. That's not insecure. Like, she might have been in that moment, like, I mean, yeah, if someone told me they thought I was ugly, it would fucking sting. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, until Tom's cancer got really bad, I was getting sex pretty regularly, so it really didn't bother me. Not that much. I mean, I have, again, my image issues being what they are. But, I mean, I understand that I can bring a lot to a relationship. People just have to give me that opportunity. That's just what it is.
Casey, the pair would still carry on their relationship.
After meeting her for the first time in July in California, she was going to come down for a month because I was going to take her to an anime convention. Stay a month, whatever. She was supposed to go back.
I was there for like 2 weeks, and I called my mom and I was like, oh my god, I miss you so much, because I was living with her and my grandma at the time. And on the phone she told me, your grandma said you can't come back to Oklahoma, you can't come live with us. And I was like, what?
It makes me really wonder why grandma said she couldn't come back. It really makes me wonder. And I know I'm pausing a lot to comment, and I know this video is gonna be so fucking long. Hopefully people will still watch it. I don't know, but I wonder if if grandma took it as the opportunity to not have her there anymore because of the behavior. Like, I encourage you guys, and I'm gonna try to link this too when I post my video. I'm gonna link the interview and the part in the episode 1 of this. But I encourage you to watch the whole thing, because there's the Facebook messages that she posts about Casey's mom and Casey's mom's boyfriend. And the lack of gratitude is just, it's appalling. They've let you stay rent free. They've encouraged you to either go to school or get a job to just better yourself, and to not just have you be a lump all day. And you bitch and you threaten to hit them behind, you're basically doing it behind their back. But if they looked at your Facebook, they'd see the threats. So you're kind of being a coward about it at the same time. So if this is what she was doing to people that weren't related to her, it makes me wonder how she was treating the people that she was related to, especially those that she might have thought had let her down in the past because of things like her mother's substance abuse issues and stuff like that. Like she might have been really, really disrespectful to her grandmother, who might not have had anything to do with how her mother treated her. And her grandmother decided she had enough. That's my hypothesis.
Where do I go?
Her grandmother said she couldn't come back.
Yeah, well, I've always wondered why a grandma never wanted her back. Did we ever find out?
Cassidy's mom was pissed because I think she knew right then and there she's gonna have to take on, like, me. I think also...
No, she didn't have to. She didn't have to. She could have just given you the number and the directions to a fucking teen homeless shelter, okay? Just so we're clear. She didn't have to take you in. She decided to out of the goodness of her fucking heart, and you spat in her face. Let's be clear.
450 square feet. There were like no doors. Cassidy and I ended up having to use the living room as our bedroom.
I was 16 at the time. My mom was mad. We didn't have a lot of money. When she's talking about her small apartment, we didn't have a lot of money. We were poor. It didn't have a bedroom door. It was like a studio with like a wall, like breaking off the living room and bedroom. So she had a 16-year-old to raise. Plus, she was just getting into my mom was just getting into a new relationship, and then all of a sudden there's someone else that's there that she needs to make sure to feed. Yeah, it made her mad. But I fought for Amber to be there because she didn't have nowhere to go.
I didn't have a job. I didn't have anywhere to go. I had no car. I had nothing. And I just got done being in a foster care. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, because being in foster care, like, you're very, like, taken care of in a sense, you know?
But, well, it was whatever. I fought for her to stay. I didn't want her to be homeless. It was, I felt that was the right thing to do.
I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna live with my girlfriend. Like, we're so in love. It's, like, so amazing. And
I don't want to say I regretted it, but the things that happened afterwards, I kind of regretted our whole entire relationship. And I hate to say it, but I do regret our whole entire relationship. I do.
Casey, it is totally okay for you to feel that way. Completely and totally okay. You had no idea what you were getting into. This is why I actually have encouraged friends and such in the past that if they're in a relationship, they should definitely move in together first before they're like doing the whole matrimonial thing, because sometimes you're really not going to know a person until you're living together. That's a make it or break it for a lot of relationships, and people don't understand that until they're going through it. So, especially for what you went through, what your mom went through because of Amber, you know, you tried to be there. You tried to be the partner that she needed, what you thought she deserved. And I say thought she deserved because she didn't deserve you. She didn't deserve your mom. Absolutely not. Not with what she did. So, you are absolutely you are right to feel that way. I don't want to say entitled, that might be not the right word, but you are in the right to feel that way. Just so you know.
Now, Nadine, at this point, was already struggling to make ends meet, and now she had to look after her child's adult girlfriend. So now you've got Nadine, Casey, Amber, and Nadine's boyfriend Dave all living in this tiny studio apartment.
Did you like Amber at first?
Yeah. Like this?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good. She was nice. So bad for her.
Brooke said,
Yeah, she was nice.
was she verbally abusive?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she tough when she.
Amber always seemed to be making these disrespectful Facebook posts about Dave and Nadine, talking about how unhappy she was and how much she disliked them. Amber would go on to make videos about her time in Arizona, where she would be extremely soft-spoken and talking about how she was a victim of abuse while living there.
She hated me. So did her boyfriend. Several times he threatened to kill me. I was abused there a lot, in several different ways.
No. I don't believe this at all. At all. Because already for what little bit I know about Nadine, the fact that she is such a caring individual, that she adopts a baby that she had no connection to previously, that she had enough love in her heart that she wanted to adopt. No. I don't believe that her boyfriend would threaten to kill you and nothing would be said or done about it. Nadine wouldn't even tell him to chill out or tell him to go walk and cool off. And from what I'm hearing, what I've heard, at least, and what I'm recalling, Casey never said a damn thing about that. So, yeah, I don't. And I don't like that. Again, you could read the Facebook posts for yourself by going to Mr. Snowflake's video. And, I mean, I'm using my phone and my tablet, so that's also why you're not seeing it, like me actually reacting to it that way. But also, I don't want to outright just take his view. So again, I suggest that you go and watch this and the interview. I can't encourage it enough. Because I do. I think it's important. I think it's important because it illustrates a person who's kind of, a bigger, literally and figuratively, YouTube personality who's been getting away with bad behavior. It may also teach others about how to recognize that behavior that might be happening around them. So maybe they can help someone else if they see it. I don't know necessarily that Mr. Snowflake went into that necessarily with all those specific intentions. He might have just been doing it because he thought, it'd get a lot of views and it'd be good journalism. But I think he's actually doing people a service. And so, again, that was another reason why I wanted to take the point to actually talk about this, because, again, it's important. I think it's very important that people understand that these things are things that happen. Domestic violence and such like that. It's very severely underreported. Abuse against children, severely underreported. You can look on YouTube, and there are tons of true crime cases about how CPS, Child Protective Services, how they've failed kids in the past, whether they're in foster care or they're with their biological parents, and kids have been abused, murdered, what have you. And sorry, something just made a random noise. It is. It's very important that things like this be highlighted. Sorry. It's almost 6:30 in the morning for me. So, and I still have a ways to go with this. So, and I just repeated myself. Apologies.
Cake said she wasn't allowed to sit on the couch at your house. But my mom never told her she wasn't allowed. My mom never said that. Yeah. It was Dave. So, did she ever break any of your furniture?
See, apparently Dave made comments about Amber not sitting on the couch and such. But Casey says nothing about death threats. So something tells me that those aren't true.
Said Zach.
Yeah.
I am scared that I'm gonna break a chair one day. I've never broken furniture in my life. I have never broken a furniture before. A little backstory, I've only broken a couple things in my life. Like, I got this really, 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 really cheap chair at Walmart one time, and I used it a lot.
Didn't she break that couch at the work she and Destiny had? I distinctly remember the sound of a couch breaking when she plopped on it.
She knew everything about every subject.
Yeah, it was saying.
Tubed it, or she Googled it, or she known the fact.
Yeah, my IQ is just overwhelmed by how smart I am.
Amber, who was a legal adult, was given a choice: either go to college or get a job.
I did go to college. I was going for my associates in criminal justice. I regret going.
By the way, anyone wants to pay for me to be able to take a Mensa test, I would love that, because I'm honestly curious. I get told that I'm rather intelligent, that I'm well-spoken, things like this. But apparently to be tested by Mensa, you have to pay for it. So, or I don't know if there's like I'm saying, again, 6:30 in the morning. All the tests that I can find online are just essentially BuzzFeed, like IQ tests. They're not legit. So, um, if anyone wants to help me out so I could actually see how smart I actually am, or maybe we want to send that in Amber's direction so we can find out. But who knows if she'd actually post the truth, so I promise I would.
Because I was like forced to go. That's like a whole other story.
Yes, my mom said it was either work or go to school because I didn't want her home all day. Because I was a senior. I was a senior in high school. I went home all day. My mom and Dave were tired of her being home all day. My mom and Dave wanted her out of the house because she stayed in the house, God, 24/7 on her phone.
Without Nadine, Amber would have been homeless, but Amber still thought it was acceptable to go online and complain, like this one in particular. Maybe if I didn't live with Tulls, I wouldn't have to wake up at 5 a.m. to catch the bus to be at school at 9. Maybe if I didn't live with Apples, I'd get a ride.
Maybe you could just be an adult and be self-sufficient and take that fucking bus. I mean, yeah, I have to do the Medicaid cab because I have the nerve damage issues and stuff like that. So if I had to stand on a bus, the back and forth herky-jerky might actually cause me to fall. But, I'm a big girl. I set up my rides. And, I go to my appointments. I don't bother Diana with it all the time. The only time I have to bother her now is about picking up some of my meds because they're controlled substances, or the prescription cannabis because, I actually have to show up every time with my certificate to purchase. So, that's just how it is. But I mean, I've tried to keep myself as independent as possible. I even have a video here on the channel about how to try to be more independent while being disabled. So if any of you, are even still watching at this point and are curious, there's tips and tricks in there, especially if you're on public assistance or something. There's things in there to help you get like a Amazon Prime account membership for half off, or Walmart Plus half off. Things like that. Like, I'm a very thrifty person, so I've definitely shared some of those things. So, yeah, just because a person helps you with some things doesn't mean you rely on them for everything. You should primarily rely on yourself.
Is she joking? Without them, she'd be living in a cardboard box.
So everybody who was living there, Dave, Nadine, Casey, were gracious enough to let Amber stay there and not be homeless. She was given the choice, college or work. She chose college, which didn't bring anything into the household. And Amber still felt it was perfectly acceptable to just go online and speak about them the way she did.
Amberlyn is a liar. Amberlyn made a Facebook post saying she wanted to punch your mom in the face.
Yeah,
No. Don't do that.
So not only would she contribute nothing financially, she would complain about them online, and to top it all off, she was incredibly lazy.
Christina said that she even cleaned at any point in your house. Sometimes she do it on her own accord, but 90% of the time we had to argue with it. Did she give y'all a hard time about cleaning? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cleaning it was an argument she'd avoid it. Did Amber ever cook, clean, anything productive at all? She cooked she never cooked dinner for everybody. She cooked if she was hungry. It was more of an argument, Mom. Like, I had to argue with her to clean.
Like she was wanting to do her own dishwasher.
She said she was forced to wash everyone's clothes at your house. No, she wasn't. We asked her just to wash her clothes, or like I would go to laundromat, but she never put her clothes away. I was doing her laundry.
Yeah. It's the bigger laundry. Rub your feet.
Massaged her. Don't remind me that I massaged.
I'm going to read this Facebook one. Because, fuck. I slept wrong because my shoulder is hurting so bad. Cassidy better massage it for me tonight. LOL. Dude. No. You fucking take some ibuprofen and a hot shower. You ask fucking nicely for a massage.
Her feet. You never seen her feet, Mom.
This would not be the only cleaning Amber would neglect to do. Even though Amber does claim to in fact shower, it is well documented that that is not the case.
Every day I was bullied. I was the smelly kid. I was the fat girl.
When I was younger, I got teased for similar things. But some of that was out of my control. Like, I was able to cook for me and my sisters, but I didn't start doing things like laundry until junior high. Because it was at that point I actually had a neighbor, to go to the laundromat with me. I was afraid to go on my own. Because I was a girl that would be alone in a place for hours on end doing loads and loads of laundry. And I started developing when I was 9. So by the time I was 12, I already had like double D tits. So I was actually really afraid of being in a laundromat by myself. Especially that one, because there were cameras, but it was pretty much unattended most of the time. So but I mean, yeah, I got teased, but I showered, you know. Especially once, like, my sisters, they brought Lice home a few times. And then that's when I started making sure that they did better on being clean too. Because I didn't want them being teased. I mean, I was the oldest of 4 girls. It basically fell on me to try to protect them and take care of them. So yeah, it just I understand where that could be a struggle, but she had it in her power to fix it by this point. You know, living with Casey and Casey's family, like, There was access to apparently a laundromat where, Casey, can you go with me? And shower. I mean, she had access to a shower. Shower. I showered all the time. My hair has always been like my vanity point. I've talked about that. So, I mean, and just because of other things, like cleanliness was important to me. Like sometimes when the way people would look at me, like my mom's friends or whatever, it would remind me of when I was much younger, and so I would have to scrub myself. Even now, the scrub brushes that I have in the shower, I use the rougher side, and I tend to scrub until my skin's at least turning pink. It's just habit. I try to be conscious of it, but I'm usually singing the music, just trying to just do it like it's an everyday thing, and I'll get carried away. Because I'm self-conscious about potential smells, because of old trauma. It's just...
And then Mimi said, wait, she stank, didn't she?
Yeah.
I do shower every single day, so don't get this wrong. It's just my hair and my face is not washed every single day, or you know what I'm saying. But my makeup does come off by itself within
I need to get better about washing my face.
Somewhere around that time.
The showering was hard to get her to do.
Because my
One of the
breakouts,
reasons why
I need to get better about that.
Didn't get along was because of Amber's poor hygiene, and that's understandable when you consider the small space they were all living in.
Did Amber shower at all? Just be honest, Mom.
Yeah, she did, but we had to argue with her. She'd say, okay, I'll do it right now. Okay, I'll do it right now. I'll do it right now. But yeah, it's not every day though, but.
This unhygienic habit of Amber's would follow her for many years to come, and in one video, Amber would confess to having lied to her audience about her personal hygiene.
There was a large portion of 2019, if not the whole 2019, where I literally couldn't shower. But yeah, I would bathe in bed, and it wouldn't even be frequently.
Didn't you go on to make a video of it in the shower to prove that you showered?
Hello? Is anyone home? Oh, Amberlynn said shower with me, and she meant it.
It looked like she just had the hot water pour right here, by the way.
Amber wasn't happy with. She was also extremely unhappy.
And then that was it.
She would even go as far as uploading a video titled, "I was in an abusive relationship, I was raped," which has now since been deleted.
So, I was recently talking to someone who had no idea that I was in an abusive relationship before, and they told me how girls who stay in abusive relationships are just lazy and that they like to be abused. Now, I from firsthand witnessed my dad, my mother, my whole childhood. I told myself I will never be with someone who lays a hand on me. My first live-in relationship was with a girl named Cassidy.
The abusive relationship that I was in was brief. It escalated quickly. And when he nearly fractured my ribs by stomping on my rib cage because he thought I was cheating on him, I called the cops and we were done. We were additionally done because I was 16, so he got an additional trouble because he was much older. Because it was still considered assault on a minor. Even though the age of consent was there. So, but yeah, that, because of how I went through things with my mom and her boyfriends and her friends, and, you know, basically any of them could hit me, talk to me however they wanted. I don't think she understands that one of them essayed me. I don't even know if she remembers taking me to the hospital when the last incident happened. Her drinking was pretty bad at that point. But it happened. It absolutely. And the reason why that continued was because I was told that if I fought it, or if I tried to tell, he would then focus on my younger sister. There was just me and my younger sister at that particular point. My younger two sisters weren't born yet. There's years of difference between me and the next oldest and then the younger two. So it was just me and Amanda at that point. And Amanda was a year younger than me. So when you're being threatened that your 3-year-old sister will then become his victim, you comply. But yeah, I can already feel myself getting a little bit angry in hearing what Amber's saying and what she's sort of gearing up to say. And it's exactly how I felt the first time I started listening to this. Christ, this is already over an hour and a half. I'm going to stop this one and start up the next one. I'll break this into 2 parts just to make it easier on people.